Okay, what's up everybody? Colin.
And Peyton.
Oops, I guess we should say Colin here. And Peyton? How would we say that? Okay, we're gonna try that again. Okay, what's up everybody? It's Colin here.
And Peyton.
And today, this is not gonna be our usual Paranormal Files video. I am actually for the first time creating a vlog because of the events that have been happening in our lives in the last couple of weeks specifically. They culminated in some weird scratches on my back a couple of days ago, but we'll get into that later. I'm gonna try to keep this brief so that it doesn't get too boring, but this is my personal story of haunting that has now started to affect Peyton, and we don't really understand what's happening. If you know one thing about Peyton and I, we love the band Typo Negative. You can see right there we're rocking our shirts. We actually listened to Typo on our first date, if you remember correctly.
I remember.
Remember the album?
October Rust.
It was October Rust. We listened to the whole album all the way down. It's my favorite album of all time. We're constantly wearing these shirts in our videos, going to locations with Typo Negative shirts on and all of that. And they're already a goth metal band from Brooklyn. They were formed in the late 80s, were very big in the 90s and 2000s, but unfortunately the lead singer of Typo Negative, Peter Steele, died in 2010 when he was almost 50 years old. So he actually died of heart failure, and it was just a shocking and sudden death that kind of rocked the music world. How do you feel about Typo Negative?
I love Typo Negative. I feel like eventually I would have discovered who they were if I had never met you. Just because, like, I really, really like them, and I've always liked music like that. So, but I'm glad you introduced me to them.
Yeah, now we get to nerd out together.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh. I'm gonna add that as a cringe moment.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the story. So, Typo Negative has been my favorite band since when I came down to Texas as a freshman from South Dakota. It was really hard. I had no friends down here. I, didn't know where to go. And at night, when I was in the dark in my dorm room, I would always turn to October Rust, which is, like I said, my favorite album. And it really comforted me. So this music has a lot of meaning to myself and now to you, obviously. This all starts to get really weird. I guess the impetus was probably in March, because last March Peyton and I traveled with my dad to go visit Peter Steele's grave in Brooklyn, New York. So we went to New York, we took the train out of the city onto Staten Island and found his grave. It was a long ordeal, but this is actually some unreleased footage from the Paranormal Files that I could never find a place to slip, I couldn't never find an episode to slip it into. Well, how do I word that?
Could never really find a use for it.
I guess there's just no episode that this clip belonged in. So I'm gonna play that for you guys now. This is us visiting Peter Steele's grave. Good morning, friends. Here we are in the hotel room. It's pretty messy.
Hey, you missed this.
Oh, there you go. That's a good morning message. Good morning, Peyton. Look beautiful. Here is our view outside. We are in the Hilton Times Square Hotel for free right now. Here's an abandoned hotel that's right next to us. Place looks pretty sick. I would love to go in there.
Good stat.
The Carter Hotel. And today we are going on a Typo Negative journey to visit Peter Steele's grave, and we are getting a drink at the bar where they used to drink all the time.
In Long Island, New York. Yoo-hoo!
That has to be the intro.
That's the question.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
The damn parade. What kind of parade lasts 6 hours?
Oh my god, I thought that was a real guy in the door with St. Patty's stuff on.
Oh my god.
But it's Patrick Stewart. Patrick. I get it. That'd be awesome.
Jeez. Oh, angry Irishman.
That is an angry Irishman.
Yeah, it was, man. Not really.
But they are
Focus.
traffic officers.
Well, that's cool. That's
Beautiful and majestic as this ever again.
awful.
You are not getting by in an ambulance. Which is how often the train comes by. Westwood U.S. National Cemetery. So you're combining
so
that
many
then
graves.
with, how many? So that every cell they make.
Going to see Petrus.
Petrus, we're so close.
Section 110. Yep, St. Charles.
Well, when a local does it, follow them. So that building, so that's the center. So that's this dot in the middle.
I see.
So we'll head out to the outer.
Wow, this is like
This is a massive cemetery. What a weird area out here.
Merry Christmas. Wow. Yeah, thank you.
Be well.
All right, see ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Alright, let's.
Okay.
Ready? So we drove all the way from New York City out to Long Island to the St. Charles Resurrection Cemetery out here in, what is it, Farmsdale? Farmington, New York. And we're here to visit Peter Steele's grave of Typo Negative fame. Peyton and I want to show him real quick. We got our Typo shirts on. We're ready to find this grave. It's pretty chilly. Don't know how we're gonna get back right now, but let's go visit our idol. It's just somewhere in here. Oh my God, I was looking for it and I walked right to it. Right here! I walked right to it. Wow. How weird is that? There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Peter T. Steele, baby.
Jeez.
Look at all these little things people have left. Dude, guitar picks. Look at. Thank you, Peter, for everything you've ever done. Typo Negative for life. Very meaningful moment to be here. Love you, buddy. So now that you've seen that, that was pretty crazy. We also saw the Amityville Horror House.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna include a clip of that real quick because why the hell not? Here you guys go. Oh, there it is. It's right here.
Right?
It's this one right here.
Oh, right there.
That's the real Amityville Horror House. So real quickly, while we were here in New York, we came to Amityville to see Peter Steele's grave, and I just kind of had to make a stop here in Amityville to see 112 Ocean Avenue, aka the real life right there house from the Amityville Horror. This is one of the most haunted houses in America. This is one of the locations of one of the most infamous hauntings throughout history, most documented, most immortalized in popular culture, and that happened in real life right here, right behind me in this very house. Definitely just kind of looks like a house that would be in The Conjuring or something like that. And now that you've seen that, that's actually totally unrelated, but that's one of the most haunted homes in American history, one of the most significant hauntings. The Warrens were there from The Conjuring, but all that doesn't matter. back to the story. So we visited Peter Steele's grave. How did you feel about it?
Good. I'm glad we finally made it there. It was really peaceful. It was kind of sad because the cemetery, we've been to all these great cemeteries, and that one was honestly nothing special. I feel like he definitely deserves something cooler. I feel like he should have been able to kind of, if his death hadn't have been so sudden, I know he would have picked something different for himself after he was
definitely.
gone.
I mean, for a guy that had tombstones on half of their merchandise and wrote about death and ghosts and whatnot, it's a very underwhelming gravestone. Very small. But I mean, maybe that's what they wanted at the end of the day, just to become, just another person. Oddly enough, though, the guy whose family member was buried right next to Peter was there that day and said that his sister still comes all the time, and we talked to him for a while, so that was interesting.
That was another odd coincidence, too. There was no one in the whole cemetery, and we were there.
Huge cemetery, too.
Huge. We were there in the middle of the day, pretty much. It was kind of a gross day. And this car parks, and we're like, he could go to hundreds of graves, and comes up right next to us.
Yeah, that was
right
weird.
next
That
to
was
us.
very weird. Like something was calling him, But that was for my 21st birthday. Didn't go out really drinking or have a big old party. Just wanted to make my personal pilgrimage to my favorite musician's grave. While we were up visiting Peter's grave as well, we went to a place called Duff's in Brooklyn, which is a very famous heavy metal bar, horror bar. They have a lot of old memorabilia, merchandise from a ton of different bands. And this is a bar where Typo Negative used to hang out. Peter used to hang out there all the time with all the other bandmates, and they would play gigs there. And this is a very crucial place in the Typo Negative story, because it's really one of the places that birthed them into the heavy metal world. And even to this day, they have a ton of Typo Negative stuff in the bar, and they have Pete's bass on the wall framed and signed. So we came very close to these guys. Whether it was indirectly or not, we were, 6 degrees away of separation, a couple degrees of separation, 1 or 2 at that point.
Yeah.
We were almost there. We went there, we did that, it was all fun. Fast forward a couple months to July, right behind us over there, actually on our wall, is a hand-signed Typo Negative poster that I got for my 20th birthday from my parents. Got a picture of them all signing it back at my house. It's certified. And for the first time in July, we actually brought it down here to our apartment. And now, it's for the first time ever, it's actually hanging on the wall right there. And this is kind of when the weird stuff starts to happen. So about the time that we were heading back to Edinburgh Manor, which was middle of July, we went to see a concert at a local concert venue. And Deaf Heaven, if anybody knows who they are, they're a shoegaze metal band. We went to the concert. We had to get to Denton by the next night so that we could go up through Missouri and then make our way to the Edinburgh Manor. And it was going to be almost impossible if we didn't go to Denton that night that we were supposed to leave. And it was already 12 o'clock. We were all packed to go, and I go into my pockets. I'm about to drive. I'm the one driving. And I don't have my ID, my driver's license. So we freak out, spend a lot of time looking for it. Eventually, about 1 o'clock in the morning, we make it to the bar that we were at the night before at the concert. It's called Mohawk in Austin. And I frantically run up to the door, go to the guy that's checking IDs, ask him if he's seen my face on an ID. And he actually looks at me and says, "Yeah, I know you. You're Colin. Let me go grab the ID." I'm like, "Really? Awesome. I didn't expect that." He goes around the corner, disappears. All of a sudden, a guy wearing a Typo Negative t-shirt comes around the corner that I've never seen up until this point and hands me my ID and goes, "Have a good night, buddy." And I'm like, "Dude, you know Typo Negative? That's crazy." And we had a little fangirl moment. But when I came back, you couldn't believe that I got the ID.
No, definitely not. It was already such a stressful night because we had literally just moved out of our old apartment.
Terrible. Yeah, that whole day we were moving.
And then our new apartment was just boxes. We only packed our necessities to go up to Edinburgh and home for like a month to South Dakota. And so it was just so stressful. It was like almost 1 a.m. It's a 3.5 hour drive home. But the thing is, like, when Colin got his ID, it was probably a setback of like 15-20 minutes, I'd say, because he talked to the guy for a while. And we were driving north on I-35, and about a mile up the road was like a huge accident with like a semi-truck and like 5 cars. And we were thinking like first responders had just gotten there, and we were thinking like if you already had your ID, would we have like been involved in that?
Mm-hmm.
Or
we would have been driving on the road just
when
about
it
at that
happened.
exact
Yeah.
time.
So
it was a big accident too.
we would have either been a part of it or witnessed it, and I know it's probably extremely traumatic too. So none of that could have been good.
No. So that's when we first actually stepped back for a second and said, we listen to Typo Negative all the time. I play them at our favorite bar through the loudspeakers.
They probably know when we're there. They're dun dun dun. They're
like, oh, it's these guys again. The goths.
playing Scrabble.
Yeah, right.
Goth kids playing Scrabble.
So anyways, that happened. We got home. We were safe. Everything was fine and dandy. Fast forward about a month later to just last week. You know, we always have a lot of coincidences that happen to us. Lights that turn on and off. Things that happen in the middle of the night. But not until now.
The TV.
Yeah, is anything... The TV turned on too, right before that. The TV, it was in one of our videos, blasting in the middle of the night. It's like something has been attached to us for a while, whether we have acknowledged it or not. Just last week, keep in mind, we just hung the Typo Negative poster in our apartment. Peyton and I were eating lunch at Payway, which is kind of a cheaper P.F. Chang's for broke-ass college kids who do ghost hunting videos. So we were there, and the manager looks at me and goes, dude, I have that exact Typo Negative shirt. I have the original from a concert. And I was wearing one of my reprints. I was like, dude, no way. That's so awesome. We struck up a conversation. The guy, his wife was born in the same hospital as the drummer on the same day, so their families knew each other, and he's met all of them a bunch of times before. One of his favorite bands of all time. Got to see them. You know, I never even got to know who they were when Peter was alive, so it really didn't even matter. But when we're eating dinner, he actually came over and said, hey, would you guys want to come buy my original Typo Negative shirts? I'll sell them to you for cheap. We're like, please? Because one of these shirts goes for like $190 to like $300 on eBay, so you can't get originals. And we show up to his house the next day, extremely excited, and Peyton's actually wearing one right now. Check that out.
There he is.
These are the real 90s tour tees. Here's the exact one that I was wearing. It's a picture of all of them and their logo on the back. And then here's the Christian woman, love you to death, with Typo Negative right there on the sleeves. Bought the shirts from him. That was crazy. We're thinking, man, there's a lot of weird Typo Negative coincidences happening lately. And this is when it gets truly freaky. So Saturday night, just this last week, I'm sitting at Walgreens printing some photos. I was making a scrapbook for Peyton's birthday on Sunday, and this homeless woman comes up and starts talking to me. And you know, I was trying to just focus on getting the pictures printed, not really, you know, acknowledging her because she was really talking my ear off. And she starts going on about, yeah, it's never been the same since I came down here from Brooklyn. And I'm like, instantly, you know, what do you mean? Why? She says, I think I may have killed the lead singer of a famous rock band. And I was like, who? Because, you know, obviously that's a weird thing for a homeless woman to say. And she goes, no, you probably wouldn't know them. They're from Brooklyn. I'm like, no, please tell me, because I'm interested at that point. And she goes, it's just a band called Typo Negative. I'm instantly, what? Typo Negative's my favorite band. She looks me in the eyes. I think I killed Peter Steele, the lead singer. And I was not wearing anything related to Typo Negative, very plain outfit, nothing at all that would say I'm a Typo Negative fan. They're a very obscure band. So naturally, I started talking to her. All the while, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, is she crazy? Why would she be saying this? But as she went on, she was talking about all these different esoteric theories, and she said that Peter was actually practicing black magic and that he would come and haunt her in her dreams and beat the crap out of her, and that he was actually kind of evil and that he would hurt people in their dreams. She told me, I think he's hurt a lot of people. And that's my terrible Brooklyn accent, but she had a Brooklyn accent, a real genuine one. Another thing that was weird about her was that she had vampire teeth that were permanent, like real fangs on every tooth. They were like all black because they were so decayed, and then her teeth were yellow, but they were vampire teeth. So she claims that, like I was saying, she was dating Peter in the 90s. They had a falling out. He was doing these weird sexual black magic rituals, and he would start haunting her and beat the crap out of her, do whatever he wanted with her in the dreams. And eventually, one night, years later, she got really sick of him coming to her, and she actually astral projected out of her body, went over to him, and choked him to death in his sleep. And apparently that was the day that he actually died. So she thinks that she killed him. And it gets even weirder because afterwards she says that she thinks his ghost came back in her dreams and actually put her into a coma. And that's why she ended up on the streets, was her explanation, was that she was attacked by him in the coma, she went into the black, and she was out for I think 5 or 6 years, she said. And then when she came back, she had no job, she had zero income to pay for this huge medical expense that she had. Her family had abandoned her a long time ago. They thought she was a drug addict, which she probably was, but she was on her own. So she decided to screw it all and came down to Austin. But she told me a lot of different things about Type O Negative and how they used their lyrics to promote their magic and everything, which is like, I can see that now, you know? When you think about listening to their music, like even the songs Haunted, everything is very chanty and has like really deep meaning. Regardless, so all of that has happened in the last week or so. And you know, I started to do some research. When she was talking about all this stuff, she named the members of the band, their old manager, a bunch of different really specific things. And she said her name was Dust. But I mean, the fact that she's talking about these rituals and she had the vampire teeth, they were permanent, led me to believe that she really genuinely, you know, might have been involved in this stuff. Because I can tell when people are bullshitting, especially having interviewed, you know, so many people for the show and whatnot. And she was very, very genuine. She didn't ask me for any money. She didn't ask me to help buy anything. She didn't want anything to do with me. She just said that she felt like she needed to tell me that, which is bizarre because I was just sitting in a corner minding my own business, and to have someone just randomly come tell you that, oh, I killed the lead singer of your favorite band, like a really obscure band, is mind-blowing. So to cap all this off, Sunday night, it was Peyton's birthday. We spent the whole day celebrating. I told her the story. It was insane. And we come back to go to bed that night afterwards, and I'm just turned over on the bed. And what did you say and notice?
I mean, I don't remember what I said, but you just had these like weird ass scratches on your back. It was really odd.
And what'd you think?
I don't know. It's like, what the...
We've ruled out all possibilities for that night, and I, in my own mind, know that I did not scratch myself. No one scratched me. No one touches me, especially you. But to come back and to actually have you point that out. Now, the deeper that I went into the Type O thing, on one of their really hard to find compilation CDs, on a track that's only really available on YouTube, Type O Negative actually has a song called Stay Out of My Dreams. And in addition to that, in the song Haunted, Peter writes about being haunted by stuff and, you know, different things that are coming back from the past and haunting them. They have a lot of these themes of, you know, visions and these dark romantic themes, spells, witchcraft, all of this stuff. I mean, they tend to make light of it a lot of times, which is what I like, but at the same time, it's still there at the core of their music. So the deeper you go into this, it gets weirder and weirder, and I don't know what the hell happened to get the scratches on my back, but what I've been thinking about the last couple days is, what if it's a spirit that somehow attached itself to me or us, and it's kind of acting like Peter Steele to get close to us? You know, like a lot of possessions, stuff like that. I don't even really believe in a lot of that stuff. I'm a paranormal researcher, both of us are, but we don't tend to believe in demons and you know, even really spirits like this. But if there is something that's trying to attach to us, it could be taking on Peter Steele's form and kind of guiding this stuff, or doing, you know, I don't know, making these things happen to make us believe that it's one way when at the end of the day, maybe it is a really bad spirit. Like, I'm starting to get sick, allergies, it's all of a sudden it's just come on. we don't really know. We're just kind of on our seat waiting for what's going to happen next because of the weird things that have been happening. We hear stuff in the apartment, you know, bangs, stuff opening and shutting, lights turn on and off. It's just normal to us, but what do you think about all this?
Well, you'd never told me that theory before, so now I'm kind of freaked out.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that today because there's a lot of people that say that spirits will, you know, try to fool you, the evil ones. Like I said, I don't believe in that stuff really. You know, I'm just more on the energy side. Both of us are more on the side that there's an energy out there. Don't want to put any labels on it. We don't understand or know what it is. It's ignorant to claim that you do. Who knows at the end of the day? If we have anything else happen to us, we're going to be reporting that live. But until then, that's about all we got. That's our story of haunting that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Not from a location. I mean, it started with Peter's grave and visiting the places where they used to go. It led into getting the relics into our house. We have their old shirts, their poster that they touched and signed, and listening to their music constantly, talking about them constantly, bringing them constantly. Maybe we attracted his spirit in, and maybe when I talked to this woman that he hates, maybe he scratched me. I don't know why Peter would do that, or even a nice spirit. It was very weird to have those scratches appear on my back.
If you didn't even feel them though, there could be more of like a I'm here, and not like a.
Yeah, I didn't feel a single thing.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, at the end of the day, it's Colin here.
And Peyton.
And if you like this video, go check out our other paranormal investigation videos. Just had to share this story with everybody. And as always, stay spooky.